'Tis finally the season for pumpkin spice lattes and cozy cardigans. I'm so in my element right now. Hey everybody, welcome back, and I myself am back from my vacation to Portland. I had a lot of fun going down to Portland. I really enjoyed the different scenery and the different parts of the continent to check out, and I would definitely go back in a heartbeat. Portland is definitely my type of city, and it was rainy and beautiful, and just it was a great city to go check out. It had a lot of interesting buildings and places to go check out, and I didn't think I even saw all of it. It was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. So I did a road trip with my best friend, and she did actually all of the driving. Unfortunately, I feel so bad for her, but she was a champ and pulled through because I am a terrible and weak driver, and she pulled through and did all the driving. And we got to see so many cool and amazing things that I don't get to see near where I live at all. So it was a lot of fun to go and check that out. It was different being in the United States again. I hadn't been in the States mainly since I was like high school. I think the last time I was in the States, I used to go down to the States all the time as a kid, and I actually was born in the States. I know a couple of you asked on Twitter if it was my first time in the States, and that's obviously not true. I'm an American born, and also both my dad and I were dual, so we traveled back and forth quite a bit and had a post office box and whatnot in the States, but that's changed because I moved and whatnot. But yeah, so it's a good time to be back in the States and just seeing a whole different part of the States I hadn't seen yet. And I loved the coast. I think the coast was my favorite part, going to Cannon Beach. It was beautiful, even though it was wet and miserable and rainy. It's just something gorgeous to see the ocean, and just something I don't get to see every day, and I would definitely go back in a heartbeat. So aside from just an overview of the great time I had down in Portland, this is also my book haul from Portland. So the reason I went down to Portland was to check out Powell's City of Books. Another really cool thing I did while I was down in Portland was I met up with Sam from Sam's Nonsense. I did my first YouTuber booktuber meetup, and it was so much fun to meet somebody that I've connected with and made friends here on YouTube, and she is a lovely person, and it was so nice to meet her in person. It was kind of in my mind. It had this weird awkward moment where I watch her videos when she posts, so it's like I'm watching her, I know her, I see her, and likewise with her with my videos, and we chat regularly on Twitter. So we regularly tweet, and then when she was walking up to Powell's, I realized I had this moment of like, oh crap, I'm actually meeting somebody for the first time. I actually don't know this person. I've never met this person like face to face. So it just had that nervousness of meeting new people that I have. That little bit of social anxiety hit me, and I was like, oh crap, please don't be awkward. And then she walks up, and the first thing I notice is how much shorter she is in real life than I thought, and I blurt that out, and I'm like, oh, I'm such an awkward human being. But thankfully Sam was really gracious about that, and yeah, it was funny, it was cool, and we went out and had a great lunch together, and it was just so nice to meet somebody that I've met here on BookTube and to make that connection a little bit more real. And hopefully I get to meet more of you in the future, because that was such a cool feeling to have those conversations about the things we like together face to face. So enough of that, and without further ado, here are the books that I bought at Powell's and Barnes & Noble. We don't have a Barnes & Noble in Canada, so my friend and I were super excited to go to Barnes & Noble as well. And of course, our big trip was Powell's. Powell's was so overwhelming when I came in. I'm so glad different rooms and genres and sections are color-coded, because I did get turned around a couple of times, but it was so cool to be in there. Now, it was overwhelming, but surprisingly enough, they actually didn't have a lot of the books I was looking for when I went down there. I was looking for all the Lunar Chronicles in hardback and hoping they would have one or two. They only had one. They only had Cinder, and I really thought about getting it, but I decided not to. So surprisingly enough, I was so overwhelmed, and I didn't even find half of what I was looking for. And then I got home and I'm like, oh, I should have looked for this. I forgot to look for this. So when you go, at least have a basic list, but then kind of go off that list, because there were so many books I didn't even think about when I made my list. But it was just a really cool experience, and the people that work at Powell's are also super nice. So there was one book in particular that I really needed to get when I was at Powell's because I looked up online and they did have it in stock in store and online, and I specifically wanted this edition of this book. And that is The Princess and Curdie by George MacDonald, the Puffin Classics paperback editions with the green and the gold. And specifically why I wanted this edition is because it matches the rest of my George MacDonald books. So my Princess and the Goblin, the sequel, The Princess and Curdie, and then At the Back of the North Wind. So I got this matching edition of The Princess and Curdie. It's not in the best of condition, and somebody wrote on the back, but I will live with it. All of these books are secondhand, and I was just so excited to find the edition that I wanted of this book. The next book I wasn't intending to pick up, but because a lot of the books I originally was looking for weren't there, I decided to pick this one up, and it was one of my favorite fairy tale retellings, and I found the first book in the Princess of Westfalen series, and that is The Princess of the Midnight Ball by Jessica Day George. This is one of my favorite fairy tale retelling series. It has the 12 Dancing Princesses, a Cinderella, and a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, and so I picked up the first book. I can get the other two on Amazon, but it was there, and so I picked it up, and yeah, added it to my fairy tale retellings collection. Another book that I specifically went looking for that I was not leaving without was Ghostly Echoes by William Ritter. This is a brand new book, so it wasn't secondhand at all. And it is the third book in the Jacoby book series, which you guys all know I liked. So I definitely had to pick up this book, and it is purple and beautiful, and I'm so glad it's actually in my hands. And I have another book from the library I need to read and return right away, so I haven't quite picked this one up yet, or else I would have. But I'm very, very excited for this one, and it will be the next book I pick up. Those are all the books I bought at Powell's. I was kind of hoping to pick up more, but like I said, it was kind of overwhelming. And then while we were shopping, we were also doing a lot of calculating of Canadian-US exchange to kind of see, is this actually a deal? Or is it just can I get it cheaper in Canada? So we were doing a lot of exchange calculating at the same time, but it was really nice to just kind of relax and chill, meandered where we wanted to and check things out. And it was just an all around great experience. Even if you go just to get lost and look at all these books, I highly recommend it. Next, we went to Barnes & Noble. Now, specifically, we were going to Barnes & Noble. We weren't getting any other books at Barnes & Noble except for their leather-bound classics collection because the shipping pretty much kills us here in Canada for anything. Even within our own country, shipping sucks for Canadians, like just awful. So we don't buy these online a lot, and we specifically each wanted to go and pick up a Barnes & Noble Classics edition, and I picked up my copy of The Snow Queen and Other Winter's Tales. It has a lot of winter tales from all of those great fairy tale authors, and I thought this would be a better pick than just a Grimm's or a Hans Christian Andersen book, because then I get a taste of both Grimm's, Hans Christian Andersen, and other writers, because I might not like just Brothers Grimm's writing or just Hans Christian Andersen writing. So I got a mix of everybody, and it's absolutely stunning. And of course, like, Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year, so this will be a really good book to grab a couple stories out of and just relax and read while the snow falls, because we get a lot of that in Canada. So yeah, I have my first ever Barnes & Noble Classics collection. I hope to add more, but for now, we will stick with this one. But anyway, that is all the things that I got when I was down in Portland. So thanks for enjoying my Portland vlog trips. I might do an overview one of like everything, but I don't know yet. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!